Do you think it's fair that teachers have to get so many degrees in order to make a decent salary?
No. Short answer. Short
Right.
answer, no. Um, Here's my thing. I think that teachers are like the backbone of a functioning society, and I also believe in you pay for what you get what you pay for,
Right.
right? So I honestly think if you are paying teachers the bare minimum, you are paying them nothing. I mean, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get burnout. You're gonna get people who are tired, and I even me, a few probably like 6 months ago, getting all these teacher advices and teacher like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna change things and like make it super interesting, and the kids are gonna love it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not gonna be and you're in it and you're like, yeah, today we will be that. Today we will be watching Hercules. Um,
Put your heads down.
because I need to function.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like that's
Like
healthy.
they it honestly feels like in some of the education courses it's almost like they shame you for just doing the bare minimum. But some days you're just trying to get by. Like every day can't be like, because here's the thing, super interesting involved lessons take time to plan,
Mm-hmm.
and they take a lot of time to plan.
Right.
And so I think it's just unrealistic to expect that every day and not expect teacher burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's also on top of dealing with, like if you're an on level class, like a regular, not AP level class, there's a lot of different personalities in there that you have to take into account.
Mm.
Um, and honestly, education's changed completely even since I was in school. Like when I was in school, we wrote our own notes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like take out a piece of paper, you're gonna write your own notes.
That's not how you
Now
do
it's
it.
not even that. No. Kids expect to have a graphic organizer provided to them, and
What?
it's not even like um and they're picky about what type they get. Like I used to do graphic organizers where like it would be the name of the slide, right? Say we were covering Julius Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
So it would say Julius Caesar, and then on the other side of the table it would be like what years did he live, and what was he known for, what did he declare himself
Mm-hmm.
when he defeated Pompeii, stuff like that. And all of that information is available in the slides. They hate it. They want fill in the blank. Like that's the notes. They want fill in the blank
Fill in the blank notes.
notes. Fill in the blank notes. Yeah.
Yes.
um
Um.
Kids are, they expect, and parents expect, these graphic organizers,
Parents.
and I don't think, yeah, um there's so much expectations on what teachers need to do, and honestly it's a lot, and it feels almost impossible to do what they want you to do with the pay that you're getting, because you're definitely not getting compensated for all
Right.
this extra. And then on top of that, I have students with like 504s and like developmental plans basically. So those are kids who may have something like depression, ADHD, uh dyslexia, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um and a lot of times what I end up doing, because I can't, like I don't have the energy to do like 50 different plans.
Right.
For some kids who may have like learning issues, they want us to do something called chunking. And that is where we take an assignment and we break it down into bits and pieces, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
if I was having them do like where they had to answer three questions. On day one, we might just have to get done with one question. And then day two, the other question. And
Mm-hmm.
day three, the third question. We like chunk the assignment. Sometimes I'll just do that for the whole class because it's a lot to try and do that on top of everything else you're already doing.
Right.
You know, I also have a lot of like English as a second language students, which isn't a problem, but to be thrown into that environment and they all have different levels of reading and writing comprehension
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to navigate around, it's a lot. It's a lot of time. And I feel like you get this pressure to where, like, especially in school, I feel like they think they give you enough tools to where you can't be bad
Mm-hmm.
at teaching. Um, but it's a lot easier said than done trying to convey information. It's
Right.
not um easy. I've tried different methods. I realize that most kids just don't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just don't. I mean, I don't blame them. Like, put myself back in their shoes. You know, I can't get frustrated. I have kids who just don't turn in assignments, and I see them, and they make the decision not to turn the assignment, and I'm like, I can't get mad because when I was in high school, I made the calculated risk of being like, okay, if I don't turn in this assignment, I can still get an A in this class, so I'm not going to do the
Yeah.
assignment.
Or do the
So, I
bare
mean,
minimum.
do the bare minimum. So I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I'm not sweating that. It's just what they want me to do for school and what happens in the real world are almost two completely different things. And I don't think they fail to realize you could probably put like 40 hours into one assignment to make it the best assignment ever. And you will give it to your students and they will hate it.
I can see it.
They'll hate it. And you can make it relevant too.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it as relevant as possible and they will still hate it or find
What
it
do you mean by
boring.
relevant?
So, like, right now in school, we're learning culturally relevant education, right? So that's where, and it's a little bit harder in world history,
Mm-hmm.
but say we're studying like the Romans. So to make it more relevant to our students, we might relate it to the Roman Republic, the form of government they have, and relate that to the form of government that we have. I mean, but you really want to ideally be more relevant than that. Like when we talk about the transatlantic slave trade, and the separation of cultures, you can get you try to get more Black American students involved in the discussion because it's more relevant, directly relevant to their history.
Mm.
Or when we study like ancient South and Central American civilizations, trying to make it a little bit more relevant to some of our Latin students who may be in class.
Mm.
So
They're more interested.
they're more interested, yeah.
Okay.
And the information sticks better.
I
Is
can see that.
the goal.
It's almost like it's self-empowering.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the goal, is to be self-empowering. But I mean, I found again that like you can make it relevant and that doesn't necessarily mean people are interested in it.
That's true. I mean, if you don't care, you don't care.
Right.
You can't force a person to care or give a damn. So
GOLI gummies are all gluten-free, vegan, non-GMO, unfiltered, and of course, gelatin-free. You can use my code DUCOYT for better health today. Now back to me acting a fool.
So, do the kids make the job worth it, or do they make it worse? Like,
So the kids are kids. That's usually what I have to remind myself. Right?
you know how I feel about
They're
kids.
14. They're teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna act like how teenagers act.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so they don't care. I mean, I don't want to say they don't care, because some of them do care. Some of them find that information interesting. Some of them are super involved,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fantastic. That's the goal. Some of them are just there to get through the day. They're there to get from point A to point B.
Right.
They're there because they have to be there. To them, it's like a job. You know, they don't get paid.
8 hours.
It's 8 hours, right? So, I get it. That, like, the apathy, like, just the lack of care for some of them. Like, I get it. I totally get it. I try not to make it about me. Because I'm like, I know if history's not your most interesting subject, you're over here trying to fall asleep in my class. Like, I mean, I ask, like, if I can't fall asleep in the class, neither can you.
Right.
I mean, that's all I ask. Like, the kids like the room dark because the fluorescent lights are a lot. I'm like, if I keep it dark, keep your head up. That
Mm-hmm.
is what I ask. I don't need an admin walking in here like, oh, you're trying to give the kids a nap time.
Right.
But sometimes it can be they can make it harder, but it's not them personally. It's just the fact that you feel like you can't have an off day. You
Mm-hmm.
can't coast.
Right.
Like you can go into a retail job, I feel like, and coast and
Mm-hmm.
run on autopilot or and be fine.
Yeah.
Or shoot, you can take a mental health day and just call out.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, is it gonna suck for some people? Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's not like 90 people are counting on you to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I have 90 kids, roughly 90 kids in my
Depending on
classes.
one person.
Depending on one person, exactly. It's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really no emphasis or highlight on the mental health of teachers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of mental health of students, which, don't get me wrong, that's super important.
It is.
But very little awareness on the mental health of teachers.
That's
And
important too, though.
it is, because if your teacher's not feeling it, if they're down, the whole class feels it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I first went into school, I had to take my ethics course. And they literally had a portion in the video where they were like, oh, this teacher is normally on her A game. All the students love her. She's the best teacher. And she came in and recently she just hasn't been doing well. And rather than focus on why the teacher might be depressed, the entire video is about how her being depressed was affecting the students. And it was basically like these other teachers pulling her to the side instead of being like, what's wrong? It's being like, we notice you're down and that's really affecting the mood of your class.
That says a lot.
Which, I mean, I think the problem is like society doesn't really view teachers as people. Because, I mean, how many
Right.
times do you hear kids are like, I saw my teacher walking out and it's weird because I thought they lived in the school. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like we don't really train society to view teachers as people.
I can see. I mean, I feel like it's the same with doctors, lawyers, like all those like professional jobs. I can see it.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of why I'm starting to like falter a little bit, is you have to sign your whole life basically to teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're gone too long, it affects kids
Mm-hmm.
and their learning.
And then
It's not a
can't
job
just
you can just
quit.
put your 2 weeks in and be good.
Mm-hmm.
We had a teacher leave effective immediately, and it's not like, oh, she's just affecting herself and maybe a small group, or oh, people have to scramble to cover her shift. She literally affected almost 200 people because
Why
she
did?
quit.
Oh, she just. I thought y'all were
She
under
just quit.
contract.
She was, and she left.
Oh, so she just said, "I'm."
I'm out.
Do you know the reason? Like, was she just overwhelmed?
I've heard gossip, but I'm not gonna repeat what I don't know because I've never spoken to her to be like,
Okay.
why'd you leave?
Oh.
But what happened is her whole class had to go to a new teacher, and that other teacher students had to come to me.
Mm.
I have almost 90 kids just by myself. So you can see already that's almost 200 people affected by her decision to just quit.
Right.
So
I don't even know what to say on that one. It's a lot to think about, though.
it's a lot and it's stressful. And I mean, and even like there are teachers who have gotten fired because they have a public Instagram or Facebook and parents have seen photos of them holding a drink in their hand, and it can be made like, oh, you're not a good role model for the kids. Like I remember one teacher telling me, oh, I can't even post a photo of myself in a bikini at the beach because that can get me pulled into the principal's office. And it can. Your principal could be like, that's not appropriate for you to post. Or a parent can complain and be like, I don't want my kid to see that.
And
But it's your
that's
personal life.
it's personal life. You have it separated from. It's not like you're posting that in your classroom.
Right. There was one teacher who was suspended because I guess she left her phone on her desk
Mm-hmm.
and left the room, I guess, to go to the restroom or something. And one of the kids like got into her phone and found the photo she sent her husband and sent it to themselves and passed it around the school. And at first, the teacher got in trouble.
What, like a naughty type picture?
I guess so, like an intimate photo. There
So
was like a middle school teacher who got fired for having an OnlyFans. They said it was a bad influence on the kids. I'm like, what kids are on OnlyFans?
right, or even like they're not even supposed to be searching that. Like, so
And it's okay for whoever found it to watch OnlyFans, but it's not okay for her to
a grown
be
woman
on there.
to have a second source of income.
That she clearly needs.
Right. So are those kids? Did that child get in trouble that took the phone and then like sent the pictures to himself, or?
I think they ended up getting in trouble because people were mad. They were like, hold on. This kid violated her privacy and broke into her phone.
I hope she had a password on her phone.
I hope so too. But you know, some people they
Don't.
leave it to God.
Right.
But yeah, it's so much of your personal life that you have to give up because you're also expected to attend school events to support your students, which is all well and good. But when you're already at the school 40 hours a week, then you got to spend your weekends there.
And your salary.
Then you got to spend your off days there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to go up there late. So you're already working 7:45 to 3:45. And then there's a game that begins at 5 p.m. and you're expected to be there. So it's like, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to be there and you want to support. But at the same time, you know, my sister told me, like, you can't pour into anybody's cup if you're empty yourself.
I've heard that quote. I love that quote.
They expect teachers to be like some endless bucket of water to pour.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works.
And then what about the kids that are bringing personal information to you, and that's like taking your energy, trying to be supportive to them? If you got 90 kids who all need some advice,
everybody's going through something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, everybody's going through something. You got to be there for them, but you got to be there for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going through something too, but you can't let them know.
Right.
It's like you got to walk in and be okay when you're not okay.
Mm-hmm.